Hi everyone, this is Xinwei and I'm going to talk about Chapter 14, Injury Prevention and Safety. There are 10 safety goals that we are going to meet in this Chapter 14. The first rule is I will follow safety guidelines to reduce the risk of unintentional injuries, including the injuries in the home and injuries in the community. And in home, there are falls, fires, poisoning, airway obstructions, and in the community, there are drownings, bicycle injuries, scooter and skateboard injuries. The second goal is I will follow safety guidelines for severe weather, natural disasters, and national alerts. So in this goal, it includes landslides, floods, earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes, wildland fires, electrical storms, and winter storms. Also, if you have the guidelines, so you can look at it one by one. There are the Homeland Security Advisory System that mentioned in this goal, which is helps people make rational decisions about how to react to the threat. The third goal is I will follow guidelines for motor vehicle safety. So it includes obtaining a valid driver's license, being a defensive driver, which is observe traffic laws and speed limits, make sure that the intersection is clear before entering it. When the light turns green, never tailgate, stay alert, avoid distractions such as loud music, talking on a cell phone, or eating while driving. Listen to traffic reports and adjust plans accordingly. Check that all parts of the motor vehicles are working properly. And also it includes avoiding high-risk driving, avoiding drinking and driving, avoid use cell phones and distract driving, and also avoid traffic violation, wearing safety belts. The motor vehicle violence is including a lot that listed on the list that which already mentioned in front. So use your common sense to drive, which will be safe. The fourth goal is I will practice protective factors to reduce the risk of violence. So the violence include bullying, fighting, homicide, sexual harassment, rape, and child abuse. So there are some protective factors that reduce the likelihood that a person will be a perpetrator or victim of violence. First, recognizing violence behavior. Second, having self-respect. Third, being raised in a healthy family. Fourth, living in a nurturing environment. Fifth, having a social skills. Sixth, being able to manage anger. Seventh, being able to manage stress. Eighth, participating in physical and recreational activities. Ninth, practicing suicide prevention strategies. 10th, being able to resolve conflict. 11, avoiding discriminatory behavior. 12, making responsible decisions. 13, being able to resist negative peer pressure. 14, avoiding the use of alcohol and other harmful drugs. 15, staying away from weapons. 16, staying away from gangs. 17, showing respect for authority and obeying laws. 18, practicing self-protection strategies. 19, practicing in recovery when having been a victim violence. And the last is changing behavior after having been a juvenile offender. Also, using assertive behavior to reduce the risk of violence will be helpful because assertive behavior is the honest expression of ideas, feelings, and decisions while respecting the rights and feelings of others. The fifth goal is I will respect authority and obey laws. The sixth goal is I will protect myself from physical violence. So mainly is talking about bullying and cyberbullying. So why is cyberbullying harmful and who's bullied? How to handle bullying? This is all talked about in this section. And in the cyberbullying, it's talking about flaming, harass, cyber stalking, denigration, masquerading, outing, and trickery and exclusion. And there are some online and digital media safety clues that mentioned in this goal, which is never give out personal information online, never plan a face-to-face meeting with online people, and post on only information that you are comfortable with others seeing and knowing. Make sure your screen name doesn't say too much about you and consider not posting your photo. Do not respond to offensive and dangerous email, chat, or other communications. Never write to someone who has made you feel uncomfortable, or scared. Trust your suspicions. If you feel threatened by someone or uncomfortable because of something online, tell an adult you trust and then report it to the police. Avoid flirting with strangers online because some people lie about who they really are and you never really know whom you're dealing with. Immediately turn the computer off if there is some site that is accidentally accessed. And also there is some hate incident and child abuse, mental and emotional abuse and dating violence, hazing that mentioned in this goal. The seventh goal is I will protect myself from sexual violence and abuse, including rape, um, predatory drugs, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, and stalking. The eighth goal is I will stay away from gangs. So it talked about the risk of belonging to a gang and reasons for gang membership and how to have the protection from gangs and living a gang. The ninth goal is I will follow guidelines to help reduce the risk of weapon injuries. So here it talked about carrying a weapon can increase risk of injury, which is to deal with the accidental discharge, and also carrying a weapon increase the risk that it will be used to settle a disagreement or fight, and carrying a weapon increase the risk of its being used in a crime, and also particularly a gun increase the risk of suicide. So how to reduce the risk of being injured by a weapon is do not purchase a weapon illegally, do not carry a concealed weapon, do not carry a weapon to school, and encourage others to avoid buying, carrying, or concealing a weapon. Do not pretend to use a weapon. Avoid being around people who buy, carry, conceal, or use weapons, and do not argue with someone who has a weapon. Avoid being in a situation in which there will be weapons and do not touch any weapons you find, and tell a responsible adult if you find a weapon. The last goal is I will be skilled in first aid procedures. So that's it. Thank you for listening.